How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Garrett, and today I have been sent a set of filters from my friends over at K&F Concepts. Now, before I give you guys my thoughts on these filters, I do want to let you know K&F is not paying me a dime to say anything good or bad about these filters. I've been using these for the past few days now. I'm going to continue to use them a little bit more even after this review, so that if I do have some new thoughts, I can give those to you guys down in the comments below. But quickly, I wanted to give my upfront thoughts on these filters, the image quality, the build quality, and who I feel these filters are for, no different than any other review that I do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. This set in particular is a set of 3 filters. Now, it comes in a pretty nice case. It has a Velcro opening and it has 3 sleeves inside, which house a UV filter, a circular polarizer filter, as well as an ND4 filter. I really like the packaging that K&F has with this. I made it look a little more luxury. It's got the leather, got nice stitching, and it's pretty protective too. I believe this is a little bit more protective than a plastic case would be. Now, before I show any of the test images or test footage, I do want to make clear what each of these filters does, starting with the UV filter, because I believe that UV filters are the most useless filters that you can buy, other than keeping dust and scratches off of your front element. Now, a lot of companies will claim that most UV filters will decrease the amount of blue haze or any unsharpness that can be caused in your image. I've not really experienced that without a UV filter. So for me, a UV filter is fairly useless other than protecting the front element if I don't have a lens cap. A circular polarizer is something that's actually very useful, and I recommend most videographers and photographers have one of these in your bag. A polarizer is great for cutting reflections, especially if you're someone who's shooting with a lot of windows in your scene, or if you're a car photographer with cars being giant mirrors. Basically, this is going to help cut reflections over the paint, over the body of the car, and over the windows as well. Or if you're trying to shoot through some glass, these will cut reflections so that you can see through whatever you're trying to shoot through. The other thing that polarizers are great for is retaining blues in your sky. So as you turn these filters, they're going to retain the information and color in relation to where the polarizers are turned. And this is something that we'll demonstrate here in a second. And finally, the ND filter. For anyone who's new to photography, an ND filter is simply sunglasses for your lens. With video, in order to retain the same shutter angle or shutter speed that you want for the motion blur that you need in your video, an ND filter is vital if your camera does not have them built in. So I took these filters out in a few different situations. The first situation that I took these filters out in was with my buddy Michael Lilly, who's an automotive photographer here in our area. Go ahead and check his Instagram out if you're into that kind of thing. But I really wanted him to put these filters to the test in that scene, because this is something that he does every single day, is car photography. So I know he knows the importance of ND and circular polarizers.
Michael, appreciate you coming out, my man. He's gonna run us through just a little bit of shooting with his WRX and that beautiful CPL on the front of his Sony A7 IV.
Don't really think that I'd have to stack any images with this. It shoots beautifully. The colors, the blues in the sky are really good. Reflections in the car are not there, or the windshield, or the glass. It shoots really beautifully.
It's a pretty car to start with.
Greatly appreciate that.
It helps when you start with a pretty car. The second scenario that I took these filters out in was some gathering of B-roll for one of our real estate clients, and because I had a small window of when we had good weather and bad weather the day that I went out, the only time that I really was able to get out and shoot was between noon and 3 o'clock, which, as we know, can be some of the most difficult lighting to shoot in without some sort of assistance, especially on the video side. So for this B-roll gathering, I actually stacked the ND4 with the CPL because I was using the S1. It does not have built-in NDs. I knew that I would need some ND, and I knew that I wanted to retain the blues in my sky and cut reflections, so I stacked the CPL on top, and it actually worked like a charm. These filters work very well together when stacked. And the third scenario was I wanted to test the polarizer by itself on our Blackmagic Pocket 6Ks. Now, our 6Ks have ND filters built in, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to see if that CPL played nicely with the NDs that I already have. If I have the Blackmagics on me, I'm probably not going to use a screw-on filter, but I will use the CPL to help retain blues, help cut reflections. As far as negatives with this set, I do wish that K&F would, instead of sending a UV filter in here, put another ND. Unfortunately, ND4 is not very powerful, especially in midday lighting or even close to sunset. With the S1, I still had to stop my aperture down while I was out shooting that B-roll for our client, and so ND4 is not very powerful. And let me back up really quick. I'm not opposed to stopping lenses down. We do that quite a bit, but I don't want to stop a lens down to f11 whenever I have a filter on top of it. Color casting is something that is very, very spoken of in the world of ND filters and polarizing filters. I will say with these filters, and especially the ND, with it being a solid ND4 versus a variable ND, number one, we've already eliminated the risk of having the X that most variable NDs are plagued with. And I believe that the ND4 on this is a very clean filter. I did not notice any unwanted color cast, no magenta, no green shifts when shooting with the S1. And whenever compared to the filters of the Blackmagic Pocket 6Ks, I really think it's a quality filter, and that blows my mind because the price of these filters is mind-boggling. The set right now is on sale for $42.99 on Amazon. That's for all three filters and the case. Don't know how K&F did it. I really don't notice a lack in build quality. This case is built very nicely. Like I said, it's leather, it has nice stitching. I don't know how K&F did it. It's true glass ND as well. These are not resin filters, these are glass. So K&F, good job on the build and the price, especially for folks who are new to photography and videography. I really like this set. In closing, can I recommend this filter set? Yes, with an asterisk. I believe that with this set, it truly does need an extra stop to 2 stops of ND. Once again, my gripe is the UV filter is fairly useless, at least for my purposes. K&F, I would like to see a 6-stop ND in there with the 4-stop ND. I think the polarizer is fine. Just keep that in mind. You are gonna have to have a little more horsepower with the ND filters because ND4 is not dark enough for some situations. Other than that, for $42.99, I really don't think you can beat these filters. The ND Solid has no color cast, the circular polarizer cuts reflections and keeps the blues like it's supposed to, and the UV filter, I guess, blocks dust and scratches like it's supposed to. But I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you tried these K&F filters? Would you try them? Or do you have another budget-friendly brand that you would recommend? I want to know that all down below in the comments. And as always, if you like this video, want to see more like it in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I love growing this community here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you in the next.